Hi everybody, here's a video to show you how to take through Design Space this SVG to create a writing set for a child. It consists of a double-sided folder which can hold the notepaper and the envelopes, and then this folds up and slides into a sleeve that keeps it all safe. I've got a picture of that, you can see it there. You get, it's just a cut file originally, of course. You get files to cut the sleeve and the folder and the envelope and the notepaper, in fact, even though that's just a rectangle really, but I do supply it so that you can make your own artworks if you want to. But I do also supply these print then cut artworks, so you get one to make the folder, one to make the envelope. You can see the back of it with the flap there, and that's the front. And those, you get a sheet of paper which would probably be the first page of a letter that somebody might write, which can be personalised, bit more space there, and one which would be the continuation sheet. I'll show you how I personalise mine there. So it just says a message from Annabelle at the top, and the address might go there, and then a message from Annabelle on the envelope flap. You can obviously add to these. That wording isn't on yours obviously, so you can personalise yours as you wish. You also get print and cut artworks for the folder, and you get one with this oval so that you can put some print on the front of that if you want to, and one without, one that's just flowers with no oval at all. I was trying to think if I need to tell you anything else. So yes, the note papers, as well as the SVG to cut one that you want to make yourself, and as well as the print and cut artworks like this, you also get these print and cut artworks on PDF. So if you don't want to add anything to them, especially this continuation sheet maybe, you can just print it on PDF and cut them by hand, which is a lot quicker obviously, and a lot more economical than doing it by print and cut, because if you do it print and cut, you can only get one of these on an A4 or letter sheet, whereas if you use the PDF, you've got two up side by side, which you can then cut by hand. So you might decide to use the PDFs for the continuation sheet and do print and cut for this if you personalise it, which I think most people will. That's the idea of it, isn't it? To make it into a cute little gift set for somebody. Don't think I need to tell you anything else. No, I think we'll just go into Design Space and see what comes up there. Okay, so first of all, as I usually do with any project that I've made, which is print and cut, I'm just going to bring in the SVGs as if you were just making it as a cut file, because really all we need to, well, what we need to understand first is how to handle the score lines. So you get 3 SVGs, you get one for the folder and the sleeve, one for the envelope, and one for the notepaper. So this obviously is the sleeve and the two halves of the folder. So the first step we've got to do is convert the lines that come in as cuts, which we want to be scores. And in my SVGs, they always live in this first subgroup in your layers panel over here. So you just click on the name of the subgroup and then go to your operations menu, choose score from the drop down, and you can see that they've been converted now. And because there's more than one set, we've got to ungroup them. So while they're still selected, we're going to click on ungroup. I'm using the desktop version for PC, so for me ungroup is at the top of the layers panel. If you're using the mobile app, it'll be in the menus along the bottom. Next step is to contain the group underneath those, which contains all the cut pieces, and here we just need to ungroup. And the last step is to select everything on screen and do a third and final ungroup. So now everything on screen is a separate piece, and we can attach the scores to the individual pieces that they relate to. You've got to do it individually or you'll end up with a project which is too big to cut if you attach everything together. So click on canvas somewhere near one piece, drag a box to more or less enclose it, and attach, which for me is at the bottom of the layers panel. Do that for each piece on screen that has score lines, which is everything in this case. Right, so we're just treating this at first as if you're just cutting this from pretty cards. So we'll click make it. I do say in the Etsy listing that you need the long mat and A3 or tabloid to make these. So you've got your long mat, can't avoid it, but you can choose tabloid or A3 for each one. You only get a 1 on each sheet though. But it's quite good that they do cut from A3 or tabloid, because it means it works in Europe and the US, which is nice. So there you are, the folder and the sleeve will cut from 3 sheets of A3 or tabloid, and you need the long mat. So I'm not going to cut those for now, so I'll just delete those. And now we'll bring in the little envelope SVG. This is tiny. Again, you just need to click on that second line down in your layers panel. There isn't a group of scores this time because this is a single piece file, obviously. So you just click again, and that second line down in your layers panel, convert to score. And now, because there's only one cut piece and one score, we'll just select everything and attach it. So that's super easy. I'm pretty sure you can still only get, yeah, one on an A4, one on letter. This is just for straightforward printing. Let's just see what would happen. I wonder if you can get, I mean, you probably can't. I'm always wildly optimistic, aren't I? See if you can get two on a 12 by 12, but I doubt it. Looks as if you should, doesn't it? I'm so hopeful. Just click move, take it onto the first mat. Let's just see if it will squeeze on if we rotate it. Miles away, Judith. No, so that's just, yeah, one from A4 or letter or 12 by 12. So for your envelopes, letter or A4 is the way to go for a most economical cut. Okay, so that's the envelope. I'm not going to cut that for now. And then you do just get this cut piece for the letterhead. So I've supplied this really, A, so that you can size the print and cut artwork when it comes into the right size, or so you can use this to make your own. So if you were using this to make your own artwork, you might make it white so it printed on didn't print on the paper, or you might choose a background for your paper. If you're going to do that, you might want to change the colour of your canvas so you can see what you're doing, like that. But we don't really need to talk about that just yet. Okay, so that's if you just, oh, by the way, sorry, we'll just bring that back in. Need to know how big it is, don't you? I think 26 by, yeah, you'd get two. If you were just cutting those, if you were just cutting them from some really nice, say, crafty paper, nice watercolour paper perhaps, you should get two of those, shouldn't you? On an A4? I would have thought. What we're going to do there is we're going to, then, you must do, surely. We'll duplicate it. Let's have a look. Easily. I don't know why it's doing that, so we'll just align top and we'll attach those so they can't split up. Should still be able to choose A4. We can. Isn't that weird? So yeah, you get 2 sheets of notepaper from one A4 if you just decide to cut your own. For instance, if you were making this for an adult, a lot of adults still like to write letters. I know my sisters do. You might just choose to cut this out of some really gorgeous paper with no print on it at all. Or you might just embellish the folder or the sleeve it goes into. So yeah, you'd get 2 of these from a sheet of A4, but you wouldn't get that from letter. No, you could only get 1 from letter, unfortunately, because it's wider, but it's quite a lot shorter. Although, do you know what, if we look back, 267 millimeters, letter is 279. That would actually go on letter. So if you wanted to be more economical there, let's just hit make it again. Doesn't let you choose letter from the drop down because it likes to leave those big margins, doesn't it, Design Space? What I would do is choose 12 by 12, but then when I was putting my sheet of letter sized paper on the mat, I'd just move it over to the right 1/8 of an inch, a few millimeters from that very first white line on your cutting mat, and it would fit on easily. Definitely fits on easily for the depth of it there. Right, so that is what you do if you were just cutting it from the SVGs that you supplied. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to use the print and cut artworks to make the folder and the sleeve and the stationery exactly as I've designed them. Again, just to remind you, you can use the SVG files just to make your own completely, or you can use my artworks and just personalize them as I showed you in that image there. Too fast. So a message from Annabelle, the address at the bottom, and something on the envelope flap. You can do exactly what you want with it. Right, so let's bring in, first of all, the sleeve, and I'll show you how to use the print then cut artwork for that. So I'm going to bring this file in again. Just going to quickly do that conversion again. Click on the second line down. It selects the whole of the group that's got the scores in. Convert them to score and ungroup them. Select the group below that's got the cut pieces in it. Ungroup it. Select everything on screen any way you want to do it. A few different ways to do that. You can use the select all button, or you can drag a box around them, or you can do what I did originally and click on that first layer in the remaining group, pardon me, in the layers panel. However you do it, ungroup. So then I'm going to attach the scores just like we did before. Click on the canvas somewhere near, drag a box to more or less enclose the shape and its scores. When they're simple like this, you just need to touch them, really. Okay, so we're only going to use the sleeve for now, so I'm just going to delete those for now. So there is the cut file to cut the sleeve, but we need to bring the artwork in now. And I'm going to do it from scratch to show you how you actually bring it in. They were in my library, of course, because I've made a few of these whilst I've been perfecting the design, but I want to show you how to bring it in. So upload, browse, navigate to where these artworks are on your system, and the file you're looking for is sleeve underscore PTC, which stands for print then cut underscore artwork. So we'll select that and open. You get this window first when you're bringing in a PNG. I always choose complex. I don't know whether that's correct, but I always do, trying to get the best quality. Press continue. On this window here, don't do anything. It's already perfectly set up to cut exactly as you need to. So all you need to do is press apply and continue. And then at this window here, it is a print and cut image. So upload. That brings it into your library. Select it and add to canvas. And with PNGs, they always come in at the wrong size. They always come in way too big. So just move it to the side, get the size you need from the cut file you've already got there. And if we look up here in the menu, in the size menu, the width button says 35.998 centimeters. So I'm going to select my PNG and I'm going to, in that width box, I've forgotten it already, 35.998. 35.998, and I'm just going to hit tab on my keyboard to automatically allow Design Space to set the height, and then that will make it the right size. You only need to put one measurement in there. You can put the height in or the width, whichever you like, but just use return or tab or however you move between those boxes on your device, and it changes it automatically. So now we'll select everything on screen and we choose this center button here, which aligns them horizontally and vertically at the same time. And then we look at our selection over here in the layers panel, and we're just going to click on that original cut piece, and we don't need that anymore because your machine is going to cut around this print then cut artwork. So we're going to delete that. You can either hit backspace or however you do it. I'm going to click on the dustbin there. So then all we need to do is on the layers panel, you can do it one of two ways. You can either click on the print then cut in the layers panel and drag it into that attachment where the scores are. Did I convert the scores? Needs to be above, sorry, it needs to go below the scores. And that way it's already attached, but I'll just undo that again and go back to where we were. So there it was, it's separate, isn't it? Put it back there, but we know it's in the right place because we aligned it originally to that cut file. So you can also just select that and then arrange center back. But if you do that without dragging it into that little group there, then you do need to select everything and attach it. However you do it, just make sure the scores are attached to your cut file before you click make it. So as I say in the listing, you do need A3 or tabloid, and you've got to use the long mat, no getting away from it. So you can choose A3 or tabloid. You need a printer that can print A3 or tabloid, and you just send that through in the normal way. So you'd send to printer. If I were printing this, yes, do put bleed on because it cuts right around and there's colour at all the edges. And I always have to use system dialog because I always have to tell my printer where I want to take the paper from. So you'll get a box like this if you use a system dialog similar to this. It might not look exactly like mine. Click on Preferences, choose where your paper's coming from. In my case, it would be the paper tray at the back of my printer, and then I need to choose A3 from the list of documents that comes up, and it would be good to go. So then you'd get back to this Preferences window and you would press Print. I'm not going to print it just now. Right, so that is the sleeve and the print and cut artwork. Yes, I do. Yes. Am I going mad? Right, so we've done that one. I need to bring in the that artwork again. Should have kept those on the canvas, shouldn't I? Never mind. It's quick, and we go through that scores procedure, which a lot of people need to know. I'm converting that group of lines to score, and then I'm ungrouping them. Then I select all the cut pieces and ungroup those. Then I select the whole SVG and ungroup a third time. And I'm just selecting them now, and I'm using Alt-A on my keyboard for speed, but I'm just attaching them, and that's down here. Right, so we'll get rid of the sleeve for now. This, you'll see, you don't need to remember this. I tell you in the PDF of instructions that you get with your download. This, you can see that this is the two halves of the folder, and they more or less mirror each other, and they join up here. This piece with the flaps at either end of the spine is the front cover, and this is the back cover of the folder. So it matters because if you're bringing in the different artworks you get to personalize them, you need to apply it to the right piece. So they're all there, ready to cut, just as if you were cutting it plain, but now we're going to bring in the print and cut artworks. So we'll navigate to where they are on my system, and we'll bring in the front cover artwork that's got the oval, just for argument's sake. Click complex again at this first window, just like we did before. Don't do anything here, it's ready to print as it is. Don't get rid of anything, just hit apply and continue. And then yes, we are bringing it in as a print then cut image. And it's going to come in too big. There it's in the library. We'll add it to canvas. It's going to be too big. Just move it out of the way a little bit. By the way, should just say I did decide to change the colour of the cut pieces because they're the same colour as the print and cut artworks, and I didn't want it to get confusing. So when you get your SVG, I think these are now sort of a minty green colour, so don't worry that it looks different in your SVG. Right, so we need to get the size. This is the front cover. Do you remember me saying the one with the tabs at the top of the spine? We need to get the size from here. It's 32.375 centimeters wide. So 32.375. I'm tabbing over and it automatically changes the height. So I select both of those, go to my align menu, choose this center at the bottom, which does horizontal and vertical, and then you can choose to just hide that if you want. Is it going to do it? Not letting me do it. Okay, don't worry. Select that and we'll do as we did before. So everything that's highlighted now in your layers panel is what you've got here. So you just need to click on that cut piece there, which we don't want anymore. And then you drag this artwork underneath the scores. And because we kept, that was still an attached unit, if you like, it's all attached automatically. I will just undo that and show you how to do it the other way. So bring that back in. So you select all that. You can see your original cut piece, which is plain. Click on that and delete it. And then select your artwork there. Or if you can be very careful and select it without moving it, you can select it just on the canvas. And then we're just going to send it to the back. But because those two are now still two separate pieces, we need to attach them. So now it'll print and cut and the scores will be in the right place. So that's the front cover. This is the back cover, so we need to bring the artwork in for that now. You don't have to actually, just for argument's sake. You could just print cut your back cover plain if you wanted. You don't have to have them both decorative, but let's say for now that we want to. So folder, back cover, PTC, it's that one. Complex at this window, nothing at this window, it's good to go. Just hit apply and continue. And yes, we're using a print then cut image. Select it and add it to the canvas. It's going to come in huge. Get your size from this piece, 32.375, 32.375, and tab over so it sets the height. Select the, oops, what did I do there? Fool. I'm not concentrating. Align them, centered like that. Look in your layers panel is one way to do it. The other way to do it is you could just click on that, arrange, center the back. Excuse me. This is your cut piece, but of course it's still attached to that, so you'd either have to select it in there like I do because it's quicker, or you'd have to detach it. And then when you click on it, you're going to get your scores first, so make sure you click on it where the scores aren't, and then you can delete it. I think the original way I show you, where you just delete it in the layers panel, is much quicker. Then you just select both of those and attach them. So I'm just gonna do that again and show you the way I choose to do it. So we've made it the right size, we select those and we align them with this bottom center choice. So I look in my layers panel, I see the cut piece that I don't want, click on the dustbin to get rid of it, then I click on that print and cut artwork and I drag it underneath the scores in that little attached group there. And because I didn't detach anything, it's attached and ready to go. You can do it any way you like. I'm just going to discuss these yellow triangles in the layers panel as well. So I'm going to click on that and show you what it says. I don't know why it says this. These are all made with 300 dpi graphics and they're exported as a high resolution PNG from Illustrator. There is absolutely no way this is a low res file, and trust me, when it prints beautifully. So just ignore these yellow triangles. They come up often on print and cut artworks and it must be a glitch. Because it prints beautifully, and I know because I made it that these are 300 dpi files, which is in actual fact 4 times the resolution you need for a desktop printer. So don't worry, ignore those yellow triangles. When it gives you that low resolution image, it's nonsense. Right, so, and it will come up, by the way, that message about it being a low res file. If you save this as a project and then click make it, it will come up as a warning then as well. So you just click cancel when it says that and carry on with what you're doing. So this, again, just to remind you, it's the folder front and back cover, and you can choose tabloid or A3. So to make that, again, 2 sheets of tabloid or A3, and you need a printer which will print tabloid or A3. I'll just very quickly show the process again for people who are unfamiliar with it. Continue, send to printer. Do use bleed because there's colour at every cut edge. I have to use my system dialog. I think you will too. And this is where you could actually, if you wanted to, change the print quality. I don't, because so you get a window like that, click on preferences, choose your paper source, which for me is the paper tray, choose your paper size, which has to be A3 or tabloid, whatever you're printing on, or whatever it is in the US. I guess you'd get different options there if this printer was set up for US unit printing in the US. I don't know. I hope so anyway. But here in Europe we choose A3, and then here you could change your paper type if you're using different paper, and you could change the quality too. I just leave it on standard. I have an Epson Workforce 7310. It's lovely. The quality of it is gorgeous. So I always leave it on standard. So you click OK, and if you were going ahead with it, you'd press print there on the preferences window. But I'm not, so I'm just going to cancel that. And here we are back on the canvas. So we've done the sleeve and we've done the folder itself, front and back cover. So let's have a look at the envelope now. So again, I'm going to bring in the cut file first because we need the scores. This is why I bring in the cut file. So again, we're just going to convert those scores in the operations menu, and because it's a single piece file, just select everything and attach it. No one grouping to do at all. So now we will upload and browse to where the files are. It's obvious that it's that one, isn't it? Complex at this window. Do nothing here, it's ready to go. And yes, it's a print and cut image. Lot of repetition in this video, I know, but lots of people get put off these print and cut projects because they think they're going to be difficult, and they're not. Once you've done a couple, they're really easy. So again, we're going to select that and add it to canvas, and it's going to come in too big. So we'll just click on our cut piece to get the right size. It should be 16.129 centimeters wide. So into the width box up here, 16.129, tab over, and it sets the height. Select both of those, align them, center top and bottom and side to side. And then over here in the layers panel, I'm going to click on the original cut piece, which I no longer want. Click on the dustbin to get rid of it, and then I'm going to click on the artwork and I'm going to drag it underneath those scores. And because it's still in that little attached unit there, it's ready to go. Everything's set up already, and you can choose letter or A4, which is great. Prints fine in Europe and in the US, but obviously you only get one on a sheet. Okay, so that's the envelope. Don't want to do that. Don't think I need to show you the print menu again. Note paper. Right, so with the note paper, it's actually, I know from memory, it's 18.5 centimeters deep, but you might not know that. So just follow exactly the same routine. Bring in the cut file first, and then upload, browse, and navigate to where the artworks for the note paper are. I call the front cover note paper A, and I call the continuation sheet note paper B. So let's just, they're exactly the same size, obviously. Complex again. Nothing to do here, just apply and continue. Print and cut and upload. Select it in your library and add to canvas. Comes in too big again, so if you were just following the same routine, you'd click on that, you'd look up here to see that it should be 13. I mean, I'm saying 18.5, it is really, there's always like a thousandth of a millimeter out or something, but you don't need to worry. So this width box here is saying 13.091, so I'm going to click on the artwork, double click that, 13.091, oops, 13.091, that would have been big, and tab over, select both of them, and we don't actually need to match them up because there are no scores, so you know now that that's the right size. If you're doing print and cut, you can only get one sheet from A4 or letter. I'm pretty sure, let's just make sure, don't think you can get two. No, it's just going to be one. Won't let you turn it round, will it? No. Yeah, so you'd need one sheet of this on A4 or letter. So as I said, what I have done is I've given you the note paper as well in PDFs. Let me just see if I can navigate to that somewhere. Writing set PDF. Yeah, here they are. So you get note paper A 2 up on A4, note paper A 2 up on letter, note paper B 2 up on A4, note paper B 2 up on letter. So whether you're in Europe or the US, you click on A4 for Europe, letter for the US. And if you open it, you can see it's much easier. I mean, if you're going to personalize it, you won't do this. But if you're not, and you just want to print it quickly, then you would just open the PDF, print it from Acrobat Reader, or whatever it's called now, Adobe Reader, and cut it by hand using these little crosshairs I've put in there. So that's much quicker. So that's A. And I would actually say when I made mine, I just used the PDF for notepaper B. It's much quicker if you're not doing anything to it. Cutting it by hand with a scalpel or a craft knife, whatever you've got, and a ruler using these crop marks is a great deal quicker than letting your Cricut do it. So that's where we're not going to use the Cricut for that. Definitely not for the continuation sheets, I don't think. Possibly you'd still do a print then cut for your front sheet. I would, because of course the plan is that you're going to personalize it and make it a lovely little personal set for whoever you're giving it to. Right, so I think that's all we need to talk about. I think I've covered everything. If I haven't, please let me know straight away. And if you have any issues when you come to cut or assemble the folder and the sleeve, which I've got to tell you is really easy, please don't hesitate to get in touch. The way to get in touch is via Facebook or Etsy, whichever you prefer, and the links to do that are in the description below. You do, I should stress again, get a PDF of very detailed instructions telling you how to assemble this, but it's super easy and super quick to do. And don't forget to save it as a project once you've done all that work on the print then cut, and then it's there for if you need to do it again. If you've just stumbled across this video and you'd like to buy the SVG, the link to do that is also in the description below. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.